I'm Maxime Lariviere. I'm a gameplay programmer.
Gabriel De Seve, I'm a gameplay programmer.
Gaelle Robert, I'm a product owner on the operator sales.
I'm Steve Gagne. I'm lead gameplay on the operator sales. On Rainbow Six, we have two big families of programming. So we have the first one, which is content. They're composed of the gameplay programmers. We have the AI programmers, which are working on the bots that are in the Terror Hunt, for example. We have the UI programmers. They're working on all the interface, the menus, the HUD that's displayed in the game, all the menus for customization, etc.
After that, we also have the tech family, I would say. First, we got the engine team, composed of 3D programmer, sound programmer, and physics programmer. After that, we got the network programmer. After that, we got the online programmer. And finally, we would have the tools programmer.
For gameplay programming, we're mostly focusing on the 3 C's, so the character, the camera, and the controls. And on the operator cell, we're mostly focusing on the gadgets. It's what makes each operator unique, and that's what we spend the most time on. We are working with the game designers. On our side, we're trying to bring the ideas to life. We start with prototypes. We try to see what's interesting with something quick that we can do in code.
So when we implement the gameplay of an operator, we need to make sure that the operator is made in such a way that it's scalable. So we have around 70 operators in the game. So we need to make sure that every operator we develop is functional with the previous ones, that the code will not break in a year or 2 years because it was made the wrong way.
The way we work to build an operator is to have a dedicated team which will be entirely focusing on the operator for an entire year, and it's basically 2 gameplay programmers, 2 game designers, dev tester, UX designer, realization as well, and obviously the product owner. The idea is to have an autonomous cell that can iterate super fast and create the content we're going to deliver. If you look at the high level of the production of the operator, we have 3 phases. The first one is one of the strongest and hardest one is the conception. Conception for us is L0. Once we're done with the conception, because we're happy, we start the production, and then we hit L1, L2, L3. L1 is you have all the functionalities. L2 is obviously you have the functionalities plus some of the key aspect of the operator. And then you have L3 where you polish basically and you enter the debug phase. Once we debug, we're happy with the product, we ship, and we reach L4. It's on a test server, we test, we have feedback from the community, and on, and we ship the final product 3 weeks later.
During the conception phase, it's really a fun phase for us programmer and for the designer, because it's the moment we can try a lot of different ideas. So we can try a pretty simple and safe idea. We can try really funky ideas, a thing we are pretty sure will never make into the game, but we want to try it because it can spark an idea, maybe an iteration what could be in the game, or even something into the event cell, for example.
So we do plenty of prototypes. We reach a state that we call fun approve, kind of design approve, where we all agree on the fun factor of that operator and the fact that it inserts itself properly in the meta of the game. And to reach that point, we obviously use Pro Workshop, we use play sessions within the team, we ask the directors, the game designer to give them the inputs. And from there, as soon as we have reached that state, we inject the realization to the operator.
So when we have the fun approve, we have our realization director that presents the intentions behind the gadget. So is it going to be an electronic gadget? Is it going to be smoke? Is it going to be with lights or so on. During this presentation, we elaborate all the different aspects of the gadget. It will be animation, it will be VFX, audio, etc. How the gadget is going to work in the game. So based on that, all the technical experts in the game will raise flags and identify the risks that are associated with that gadget. So sometimes during the conception, we identify operator ideas that are really cool, that are very promising, but are really complex to implement. So we like to call those operators unicorns. So those are operators that are very good gameplay-wise, but are technically very complex to accomplish. So for SME, we had this great operator, this great idea of rebuilding the things in the map. So in Siege, we're very good at breaking things, destroying the map, but we're not so good at patching that up. We started with that idea with SME that was very complex to implement because we didn't have the tools in our engine to reconstruct the map. So we iterated for a long time during the conception. We went to a fun approve, but the de-risk, we didn't make it because we were missing some key elements to reconstruct in the map and also the sound propagation. So when we, for example, you make a hole inside of a wall or a floor, the sound will go through it. However, we didn't have the tech to say, okay, now that hole is blocked, so the sound will not pass anymore. So we had to put SME on the side.
A technical limitation doesn't usually mean that it's the end of an operator. What we try to do is to find a creative solution and either try to tackle it later when we have time if it's just a complex issue, or just try to find a different solution, and every gadget in the end will have to evolve.
During the de-risk phase of our operator sounds, the obvious realization we had in mind was to use smoke for the gadget. However, when we started to put smoke in there, we realized that it would be very costly to use smokes. The smoke in Rainbow Six is costly in performance, and we could end up with something like 15 or 20 smokes at the same time in the game. So when we realized that it was too costly, we had to rely on a fallback plan, and we thought of having some pellets that spawn a wall of lights. And those wall of lights were a viable alternative to using smokes for that operator and enable us to ship sounds.